Skewed Reality Podcast.
All right, you guys, let's kick it off. It is August 11th, and this is officially my first episode of Skewed Reality. And I gotta tell you, I'm so fucking geeked right now. Like, this is my passion. This is what I've been doing since, if I go back to my high school days, like, I was on the morning news, and then I went to U of I, University of Illinois. Shout out to the blue and orange. Hail to the Illini till I die, for real, because I love that college. I love the personality of it and all the offerings and opportunities it gave me when I was down there interning and working for the Big Ten Network and being on the Illini Productions team. I'm just super grateful for how everything has kind of wrapped itself back around where I have the free time to really explore. And hopefully I'm praying that this takes off because I have a lot of things to say and I think that the crowd could resonate with. But again, welcome to Skewed Reality. This is specifically a podcast where we talk about life, love, sports, culture, and so many more topics. Whatever it is, there is no limit. My name is Bree, aka the Ego Bruiser, and this is a place where perspective meets truth. So I'll go into a little bit why I call myself the Ego Bruiser. And I think it can resonate with Black women in general because in society, we are forced to stand on our own 2 feet. You know, we're usually the ones that accelerate in education. You'll see a lot of the times we carry the burden, and we've been doing this since, you know, the beginning of time, since Adam and Eve. Now, you could blame us that we forced you to eat that apple, but that was your choice at the end of the day. But anyways, just, you know, veering off topic. Really, we are strong Black women, and I think because of the positionality of where I've come and what I've done, it often bruises egos. Men feel less of a man because of my accomplishments when it actually should be a compliment. Now, I could be wrong. And I would love for King to come along and prove me wrong, that I'm not bruising his ego and I'm actually just an accessory to the empire that we can be. But nonetheless, this is episode 1. And it is, do long distance relationships work? Okay, so I'm 25. And I know as my podcast grows, and as, you know, the people that I've grown connections with and a network with will tune in, we are all a range of ages, right? So, you know, specifically, I've had a good dating life. Some guys more terrible than others, some great that I dissed. Some have come full circle where we've been able to be great friends, and others where they're still bitter for whatever reason, because I'm telling you, I live, I learn, and I move on. But just going over the concept of long distance relationships. You know, I think most of my dating experiences were really magnified when I was down in Champaign, Illinois. And that's when the days I was popping. I had like 125 text messages, and guys was hitting me up from all different directions. Good morning, baby, and let me take you out. And you know, there's nothing wrong with dating. And I think we have lost touch with the concept of dating in general. And this is not to sound cocky at all. So I apologize in advance if I do sound cocky in the slightest or least bit. But this is my perspective. This is my truth. And I want to bring it to you guys. But anyways, as I was saying, you know, I think we really lost the art of dating. You know, you should be able to go kick it with Michael and have a dinner, and should be able to go kick it with Ryan, and y'all go to a movie until you really find the king or the queen that you've been looking for. And oftentimes I see a lot of people jump into relationships and they don't know anything about that person, because we often go off of superficial things, whether it may be materials, whether it may be looks. Trust me, I've been guilty, and I've also had my fair share of paying for falling into the artificial things of relationships in general rather than getting to know that person's soul. And then on top of it, we complicate it with sex, and then we we begin to build this soul tie to people. So they could be totally terrible for us, but because Ryan's dick is so good, I'm not going to mess with Michael over it 2 states away because I'm so infatuated with what we got going on in the bedroom. So in reality, when I go through my history of dating, like, do long distance relationships work? So let's just go over, like, you know, I was dating this guy when I was down in Champaign after talking to a few others, and there were like people that, you know, did not want to be exclusive or whatever the case was. And that's a personal choice, and that's okay. Like, that's your choice. But at the end of the day, I chose him, he chose me, and he actually lived in a state 4 hours away from Champaign. So we would actually ride back and up and down the highway, you know, seeing each other, doing our thing, and it turned into a 3-year relationship. Now, for those close to me, they know who I'm talking about, but I'm not going to disclose who I'm talking about because that ain't none of y'all business. But regardless of the fact, I had been able to make a long-distance relationship work with a 4-hour gap. Now, my question to my audience is really, when we think about long-distance relationships, what is too long of a distance? You know, because like when I go back to the part where I say Ryan's dick is so good that we kind of, our reality becomes a little foggy, right? Even though Michael lives in a state away or 2, he's a few hours from us and he's a great guy. We're so infatuated with one. And I think we live in a world of instant gratification. And that, like, you miss out on a lot of people living for the instant gratification of who's near or who's closer. And I was just having this conversation with a person that I deem my homeboy, I guess, because over the years, you know, since I've been out of that relationship or prior to that relationship, I knew this guy. And, you know, since I've been out of the relationship, I've still been able to manage a connection and been able to talk about things. And he's super intellectual and spiritual, and there's something so mysterious about him that, you know, is amazing, but I'll never be able to capture it. That's where I'm sitting at. But he was really like, you know, we were being honest with each other. Like, yeah, we probably never really connected like we were supposed to because we were so involved with what was closer, you know, and then I think that puts a halt into really finding your soulmate, because I really do believe in there are certain people that's just built for you. Like for me, I'm a hustler. I'm educated, among various other, you know, characteristics that people will try to deem me or I deem myself. And I've met guys that don't match what I do. It's disheartening to say the least. You couldn't possibly be my soulmate even though you're living in the same state as me. If you can't match my hustle, if you can't bring to the table what I'm doing, if you can't pray with me, if you can't, you know, elevate me as I'm elevating you. So I think we misconstrue this, but nonetheless, I've had a successful long distance relationship. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's something that we should re-examine, you know, and take into consideration because we live in a world of technology. Technology rules everything. I mean, everything. I'm not even like, before this, I was never a social media person. Like, if I had to delete all the social medias and have just one, it would be my Twitter, right? Because I love the psychological. I love how people think and kind of construe their thoughts and put them out to the world and then have the nerve to say, oh, no, this is not really how I think. So what are you doing it for, clout? What are you talking about here? But regardless of that fact, like, I've had successful long-distance relationships. Now, nonetheless, it was 3 years, and clearly we're not together. So it was something that we took a gamble on, and that's what love is sometimes. You take a gamble. But if I could do it over again, I would, you know, and it probably would have the same outcome or whatever the case may be. But I know that I followed my heart. I know that I did what I was supposed to do to be the best woman that I can be. And regardless if the long distance relationship didn't work out or not, it is what it is. So I'm going to ask my viewers, to hit me up on my Twitter, Skewed_podcast, for those that don't know how to spell. And I'm sorry if I'm offensive. I'm not trying to undermine anybody's intellect or capacity to understand. But skewed is spelled SKEWED _PODCAST. Skewed Podcast. Tweet me, Instagram me, Bree, BREEX, Bond. You can also hit me up on my Facebook page that I manage, Skewed Reality. Leave a message. You can also email me as well with your questions, comments, or concerns. Skewed Reality, ccq@gmail. Let me know what you're thinking. Do long distance relationships work? Have they worked for you? And I would love for you to share it, and I could always put it on the podcast and, just have a question and answers section. So I've had a long dating experience, of course, and at this point in my life, at 25, really continuing to work on my career, to work on myself, because I've seen some of the flaws and maybe what could be perceived demons, myself through some of the relationships that I've had or manifested. And I definitely need to work on myself, but I'm a solid woman and I know that I can make anything work. And at the end of the day, like with the long distance relationship, we should be able to work it out. At this point in my life, I have the flexibility, the freedom to manifest what I want as long as I put that vision into play. And really, if we could see each other twice a month, I would be cool with that. Then you avoid a lot of things like shacking up, moving too fast. You really have to work and get to know a person via a long distance relationship versus the instant gratification that we have where we get sucked into artificial, superficial things. And I think, we don't take that into consideration enough. So yeah, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Instagram. I also have my website up very, very soon where you'll be able to leave any question or concern or comment that you have about my episode. Nonetheless, I talk about a wide range of things, sports, politics, but this week I really wanted to focus on the politic aspect of what the fuck is going on in this world, right? So this shit is crazy and I'm scared. And I'm not only scared for myself, I'm scared for, most of my peers around me have already had children. I'm scared for their children. I'm scared for the people that I grew up with. I'm scared for my nieces and nephews because I love them dearly as an auntie. And what the fuck is going on in this world where people are dying due to Columbine ass niggas? And excuse me, let me tell y'all something. I don't care what color you are. You can be white, Mexican, black, Chinese. Everybody are niggas, okay? Now, here's the caveat. If you're not black, don't say nigga. Because we just gonna have some problems. And you don't want those problems from a black person. Because we could take this back to never mind. We're not even gonna take this back. Just don't say niggas, regardless. But anyways, I wanted to go over these mass shootings that are happening. Dayton, Ohio, 9 deaths. El Paso, Texas, shootings, 22 deaths. Now, excuse me, these events happen 13 hours apart. I'm a real believer in staged events. I'm a huge conspiracy theory, so something doesn't sit right with me. This whole thing about there being mass shootings 13 hours apart. But regardless of the fact, I'm just going to rate this off CNN. And here's my little disclosure about big conglomerations like CNN, Disney, ESPN. The narrative can easily be skewed, okay? It could easily be thrown off. It's whatever message that they want to put out there. But nonetheless, it's tragic. And I really want to have, a moment of prayer for those that, were affected by the crazy people of the world. So everybody, bow your heads, close your eyes, and Lord Jesus, I just really want to pray for those that have been harmed, hurt, and wounded by the stupidity of others. And I ask that you provide healing, comfort, and clarity to those that were not expecting such a tragedy to occur. Regardless of that, I always like to do a small prayer. And I did want to touch on myself. I grew up Christian, and then I've been swayed to be more spiritual. So when I speak to spirituality, I take into consideration that the Lord Savior Jesus Christ could be and is real, right? I always go back to the teachings because the Bible is full of positivity. There are tragic stories in it, but nonetheless, the Bible is full of positivity. But at the same time, as I've accumulated my growth as a human being, I've kind of taken a mass amount of different approaches. So I believe in karma. I believe in the universe, coming back around. So nonetheless, again, I wanted to have that prayer, and I really wanted to put those positive words of affirmation out into the air, because there's a lot of people suffering behind the disheartening nature of others. And people go through things and they're not seeking the therapy or guidance needed to come out of their traumas that exist. And it's sick. And a lot of people pay behind just the ridiculousness of others. Rob, Derek, shout out to you, ridiculousness, because that's what people are on. But nonetheless, just reading through this story on CNN, the victims, at least 9 people are dead after the shooting in the Oregon district of Dayton, Ohio, police say. At least 27 other people were injured. What the fuck is going on in this world? Okay? The Dayton Police Department said the suspect in the shooting is also dead. Oh, is that right? Right? So the shooter is dead as well. This is what I'm talking about, staged events. I want to see the motherfucker in the coffin. Where is his mug shot at in the coffin? Okay? Do something that's going to tell me that you know who this is and can target them. It's like all these weird world events happen, and, the shooter hung himself, suicide, somehow, some way, shape, or form, they get out of justice being served. This is why I don't believe in this type of things. Now, I do believe people were hurt, but in the case, it's very conflicting for me. So, anyways, the second deadly shooting, the shooting in Dayton, comes hours after a separate shooting claimed to take 20 lives in El Paso, Texas. God, I'm hurting. This hurts. And it's not even my family that was impacted by the tragedies. It's like, when do we stop? When do we put our foot down? And so it goes back to, gun control. What really is gun control about? Yeah, we can make the process more strenuous. Yeah, we can do the background checks. But it doesn't seem to be working, right? So where are we going wrong? I don't know. I'm not an expert in that. But here's the thing about this whole situation. The 40 whatever president that he is, I don't even want to mention his name. Fuck Donald Trump. Shout out to YG. YG 400. Okay, anyways, I'm going off task. But he tweets and says, "We cannot let those killed in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio die in vain. Likewise, for those so seriously wounded, we can never forget them. And those many who come before them. Republicans and Democrats must come together and get strong background checks, perhaps marrying this legislation with desperately needed immigration reform. We must have something good, if not great, come out of these 2 tragic events." Okay, you know what? I'm tired of his ass. I'm tired. Why hasn't he been impeached yet? After all the scandals, the firings he's done, the money he's paid people under the table, we know what you're doing, nigga. We know you is wrong. Okay? So regardless of the fact, get the fuck off Twitter. You're irritating me. Like, this is why we loved Obama so much, because he was a real nigga in the trenches. There would be times where he have a photograph shoot that, to stage the scene that he was there, but he was in the trenches. Get the fuck off Twitter. Excuse my language. And for those that don't know me, you're really gonna get to know me on this podcast. But nonetheless, and that's like my favorite phrase, and I don't know why, but like, looking at this, get off Twitter.
Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Yeah, you getting bodied by a singing nigga. I'm not the type of nigga that a type of nigga.
Not even on the ground. People are dying. And you want to tweet from your phone? Who voted for this man? Let me know you voted for this man. And here's the thing. I don't even believe in voting. I'm 25 years old. I've never went into a voting booth. I'm not going to go into a voting booth. You couldn't pay me. Actually, you could pay me, but it'd have to be millions of dollars. Okay? A lot of you don't even understand the impact of what you're doing. And here's why I don't believe in voting. Because look at the last election that we had with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump competing against each other, right? Because we all know that presidential elections are a competition. We see the way they slay each other in advertisements. They just be throwing dirt. Dog eat dog. Like, okay. But going back to the fact, this is why I don't believe in voting. Hillary Clinton, she was, in fact, the popular vote. And then the Electoral College comes along and says, you niggas thought we were going to put a woman in here? Like, damn, she white. She got all the white privilege. That's the least y'all niggas could have did for us. But they come along and they say, yeah, we want to put a businessman in there. So fuck y'all popularity vote. We're going to override that. And we're going to put Donald Trump in there. All right. I'm super uncomfortable with this whole process, man. Like, don't involve me. Don't talk to me about voting. I'm not even going to like y'all pictures when you put the sticker on you and go vote. No, never. Not going to do it, because it's a gimmick. It's a game at the end of the day. It's about who got the most bread. It's about who got the most connections. And really all somebody has got to do is pull the strings, pull the plug. It's all a puppet show, and that's how it goes. So regardless of the fact, I'm super disappointed in the way Donald Trump handles things. And you guys really legitimately call him your president. I don't get it. I don't get it. Nonetheless, I wanted to lighten the mood and introduce you to my segment called Stupid Questions That Need Stupid Answers. So the other day, me and my girl was chopping it up. And if you know me, there's very few people that surround me. Females are just weird in general. Like, if you didn't grow up with them, you probably got a few months span before y'all fall off anyway. So for those that are close to me and we've kept in contact and been consistent, I'm extremely grateful for you guys, because not only is it good to have a female's perspective in your corner, as a woman, a growing woman, but it's also good to have male's perspectives as well. So I'm very grateful for all the people that surround me. But really, me and my girl, that I'm not going to disclose her name because this is a stupid ass question, we was chopping it up. And, she was like, why do gynecologists leave the room when you're getting undressed? And I kind of felt where she was coming from, because, like, especially when you about to get a pap smear, you about to see my booty, you about to see my coochie, you about to be all in my internal organs. But at the same time, like, there's privacy laws. Like, just because she's about to see your booty and coochie, which she's gone to school for to study in the first place, doesn't mean she needs to see everything else as you're undressing. Like, that was just a weird, stupid question that needed a stupid answer. Like, shout out to you though. Like, you inspire me so much. I love you. But really, like, I don't want the gynecologist seeing everything that I'm working with. It's already enough. She gets to see my booty and the coochie. And my boobs sometimes. Like, why she gotta watch me undress? It's just too much. Anyways, I wanted to wrap this show up with, telling you guys a little bit about myself, just so you can get in tune with that next episode that I have lined up. You know who I am and the value I bring to this platform. Again, just reiterating, my name is Bree. I call myself the Ego Bruiser, and I kind of gave you some insight into why. I'm originally from Las Vegas, born and raised, so shout out to the 702, because I'm really trying to put on my city and actually claim it, unlike some people. Neo, we ain't gonna talk about you though. We love you. We love you though. But anyways, regardless of the fact, I'm from the 702. Extremely hot there. If you have not visited, and I'm always flabbergasted when people tell me like they haven't visited Vegas. It's a hot city. It's a place to go party. And not only is it a place to go party, but there's a significant opportunity and resources to live beautifully out there. So that's always interesting to me when I run across people that never been to Vegas. But, I moved to Chicago when I was 18 after I graduated high school. And I lived there for about 4 years and have dabbled in other states due to my collegiate process. So I've also lived in Indiana, and now I live in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin to be exact. And, I'm ready to get out of here. I know the Lord doesn't want me here long term because I don't even want to be here. But I am super grateful for the platform that it has given me to really impact the lives of the youth, of, some of the beautiful people that I've met. So I have no regrets. And I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And there is a divine purpose for me to fulfill, and it has brought me here as well. So from living on the West Coast side of things to being in the Midwest, I'm just super appreciative of my journey. And I'm hoping that you guys will take this with me. And those that have not lived out of the state or just have been to the next state, you could really gain some perspective about what it is to really experience all different walks of life and the people that you meet and some of the mindsets that they have, mentalities, and the way they move, I'm forever grateful. Like, I could just get on my knees and bow my head right now due to my journey, because not very many people see what I've seen. Not very many people have done what I've done. And I tell you, it's hard to be young, to walk in purpose, and keep your head up high when there's a lot of stones cast and they know nothing about you. But because you walk with confidence, because you walk with a purpose, there tends to be monkeys on the back. So even with that said, again, you guys check me out. Tweet me, Skewed_podcast. My YouTube is Skewed Reality Podcast. There will be an audio and video version of everything that I do pretty much. Also, follow me on the Facebook page that I manage. Also, follow me on Instagram. I'll follow back most of the time. But Bree X Bond, like James Bond. And yes, I've been getting that my whole life. It just flows like Bond. Diamond Bond. Anyways, regardless of the fact, shout out to you guys. Love you for listening. This is a Skewed Reality Podcast.